Good morning, student. I extend a very warm welcome to each one of you and hope you have a pleasant experience of learning via video lessons. So if you have found any doubts, please students feel free to ask because this is the only way to make your concepts clear. And read those concepts in NCERT psychology textbook after watching my video lessons. So students, today we will be continuing chapter 1, variations in psychological attributes. The topic which we have already covered are individual differences, assessment, assessment methods, domains of psychological attributes, concept of intelligence by different psychologists, and various theories that come under information processing approach. That is triarchic theory of intelligence, PASS model, and CAS. So let us start. So students, today we will be doing a psychometric approach to intelligence. After that, we will move to the various theories that come under this approach. The name of those theories are unifactor theory, two-factor theory, theory of primary mental abilities, hierarchical model of intelligence, structure of intellect model, and the last is theory of multiple intelligence. So the term psychometrics refers to the design and interpretation of tests that measure psychological values such as aptitude, ability, personality, memory, happiness, and in this case, intelligence. So, psychometric approach basically means measuring various psychological variables. Now, a lot of psychologists have given different number of variables through which they measure different components of intelligence. So, psychometric theories are based on an approach or based on a model that portrays intelligence as a composite of abilities measured by mental tests. So this model can be quantified. So we have six theories under it given by six different psychologists. First theory is unifactor theory given by Alfred Binet. Now, this theory was the first primary theory given by Alfred Binet, who started with the intelligence testing also. So now he just said that intelligence comprises of only one factor of intelligence. That one factor is responsible for all kinds of tasks. So you take up any task and performance on all kinds of tasks is required by this kind of ability. So this ability is used in all tasks, that is one similar set of abilities. Next is two-factor theory. Two-factor theory was developed by an English psychologist, Charles Spearman, in 1904. He proposed that intellectual abilities were comprised of two factors: general ability or common ability known as G factor and group of specific abilities known as S factor. Now the characteristics of a G factor are: it is a universal inborn ability. That means we are born with this ability. According to the Charles Spearman, it is general mental energy. It is constant in the sense that it remains the same. The amount of G differs from individual to individual. It is used in every life activity, and greater the G in an individual, the greater the success in life. Characteristics of S factor are: it is learned and acquired in the environment. It varies from activity to activity in the same individual. Obviously, it is learned and acquired in the environment. So, different learning, different environment. So, the way the person involved in activity is also differ. So, individual differ in the amount of S ability. So let's move on to the third theory. Third theory says that an intelligence comprises of seven factors, PMA7. It is given by Lewis Thurston, and this is primary mental abilities which are seven in numbers. In fact, Spearman's theory, the S factor and the Thurston theory was the basic foundation for aptitude testing, which we will be studying later. So now this talked about 7 abilities which are verbal, numerical, spatial, perceptual, word fluency, memory and reasoning. So all of these were measured separately in aptitude testing in career assessment, that is verbal as the name suggests, speaking part, words, communication, language. Numerical, dealing with maths and numbers. Spatial, dealing with organization of figures and pictures in a particular space. So talking about this, architectural ability is a spatial ability, 3D is a spatial ability. Next is perceptual. Perception is understanding about giving meaning, understanding concepts, ideas, my interpretation about the things, the way I look at the things. Next is word fluency. The word fluency only dealing with the number of words and the quality of words, how fluent you are in using the different combination of words and language. Next is memory. Again, simple talking about remember and storage. If I read up something, I can remember it. That is memory. Reasoning, of course, talking about different kinds of logics, use of logics in different situations. That was about Thurston theory. Fourth is hierarchical model given by Arthur Jensen. Now Arthur Jensen talked about two levels in the hierarchy. Level 1 is associative learning, which basically says that you are associating two concepts and remembering it. For instance, children who remember by mugging up, children who remember by rote learning, that is known as associative learning, where you are not using any kind of remembering or meaning, you just remembering information, not relating it, putting into memory just by repeating it, that is all. So level 2, that is cognitive learning. Cognitive is using higher level mental processes. We are not just blindly repeating it and remembering it. We are also trying to remember it and try to relate it with previous information already stored in memory. Trying to relate it to different examples, practical life, and therefore chances of forgetting is very, very difficult in this stage, which is cognitive learning. So it is a very effective learning as the name suggests. Next is structure of intellect model given by J.P. Guilford. He says that there are three major aspects to it: operations, content, and product. Now he has talked about three different kinds of intelligence, wherein he is given a cube model. He is given with three major sides, and each side has a 6 into 5 into 6 components each. So when we multiply them, we get 180 cubes in total. So imagine he gave 180 components of intelligence. So let's look at the three components. First is operations. What operations means, what the respondent does, that is operating on something, which is basically talking about any kind of problem solving, any kind of thinking, any kind of memory, any kind of decision making. So operating on the environment by using something or some mental processes. Next is content. Content is basically the nature of information. Now, nature of information can be verbal, it can be auditory, which you can hear, it can be semantic, which is meaning related. So, any stimulus or any information which is coming into my brain, that is what is analyzed. So multiplying these two and combining these two, we get the last one, which is product. means the form in which information is produced. So when a certain operation is applied to a certain kind of content, as many as 6 general kinds of products may be involved. So the 6 type of products are units, classes, relation, systems, transformation, and implication on the basis of factor analysis. So suppose we talk about a system in which we tried to understand everything, or transform in which we're trying to understand everything, that is the product we get. So this is the multiple intelligence theory, the last theory of psychometric approach given by Howard Gardner. Very important from the exam point of view, comes for 6 or 4 markers. Now, this was basically Howard Gardner, a very famous psychologist, was in India lately in 2012 for his workshop. So the term multiple intelligence have become very famous and very practically useful as well. So multiple intelligence basically says that there are 8 different kinds of intelligence, independent abilities which are there. So these independent abilities are very useful from the career point of view. So if a particular child has a certain ability, we can develop that and help him to take it as a career. Let's look at the components. First is linguistic ability. Language, it is language based, communication based. So obviously poets, writers, public speakers, debaters will definitely have very good linguistic ability. Next is logical mathematical ability, dealing with maths, dealing with numbers, dealing with logics, dealing with scientific ability. So obviously we talk about Nobel Prize winners, we talk about mathematicians, we talk about scientists. So the third is spatial ability. Spatial ability dealing with visualization of objects in mind. So I'm not as an architect wearing things. I'm putting the design on paper in my mind and then executing it. So 3D again in my mind and then executing it. So this is a spatial ability. So visualizing objects in my mind, rotating space. Fourth is musical ability. So people who have this ability can understand, sense, perceive music, composition. They are very sensitive to musical tones and pitch. So obviously various music directors, people who are poets, people who are lyricists, they are good with musical ability. Next is bodily kinesthetic. So this means body balance, body movements, and body posture, body coordination. So kinesthesis means movement. So dancers, choreographers, surgeon, they are very good with the bodily kinesthetic ability. Next is interpersonal. Interpersonal is dealing with people. So interpersonal personals will be counselors, social workers, politicians, because they are very good with other people, handling them, understanding them. The last one is the next one is intrapersonal ability. It means within the person. So very good, this ability is very good for the philosophers who are dealing with their own thoughts, their own aspects. So the last is naturalistic ability. Naturalistic, dealing with the nature, the flora, the fauna. So botanist, tourist, all those people who are very good farmers are very good with the naturalistic ability. So this is about psychometric approach. A lot of psychologists have been developed for this approach. So one thing you need to remember here, that the theory of multiple intelligence can be included in both the approaches. It can come under as a part of psychometric approach, as well as in the information processing approach as well. So to summarize, today we covered the psychometric approach, which had 6 approaches under it, given by different psychologists. So student, if you find any doubt, please feel free to ask any questions, and for any suggestions, you are always welcome. So thank you.